Ladies and gentlemen,
What are your qualifications?
boys and girls,
And he said, I'm afraid. I used to smoke, but I gave it up because someone told me that it would take 10 years off your life.
now is the time where
And it keeps getting funnier every single time.
myself and Jim are going to speak.
And so the homeowner, he jumps up and he grabs one of the rocks and he
Not again.
There's a it's a walkout. Yeah, right. It's a walkout basement.
Every Friday night.
I hate this neighborhood so much.
Ta-da-da!
Well, we're back.
Yep, we did it.
A few days later than normal, or
It's
then
back on our normal schedule, but the Tuesdays messes everything up.
we feel odd. Oh, nice Star Wars shirt, by the way.
Oh, I got it dirty like right before I left here.
It's rough.
Yeah, I was having some grilled cheese.
Oh.
And a little tomato soup to dip it in.
Oh, well. It's been since Sunday since I've seen you.
Yeah?
Yeah, we were supposed to watch the Oscars together.
And there's too many people there.
And you left.
It showed up. It was supposed to just be a few of us, and then there's a lot of people there, and then I couldn't have my opinion anymore, so I went home.
You can't ever have your opinion, Jim.
Not in our house.
Because it's always extreme.
Well, yeah, but like in our house, you get people don't get that. Like I'm used to normally when I have my extreme, people, like 9 people around me going, "Shut up," and they get to. And
I'm excited for. There's a chance that Tammy is able to come back to the show, so I'm excited for that to happen. When she's able to kind of switch up her job and work mornings again, because we need
the female voice,
and also that I wish she was here because you got on her nerve yesterday on Sunday. So
I have no problem defending my point of view. That just because she has a problem with it doesn't make me wrong.
I can't remember what though.
So I called what's her name, the fat girl.
We don't need to
in Little Women.
We don't need to bring that up.
That's what she played in the Hollywood movie.
I've not seen it, so
I'll
I
straight
can't
defend
say.
my point of view.
We're not talking about it.
And she had a problem with it because they have the same body.
I will turn off your mic, Jim. I will turn off your mic, Jim.
Doesn't make me wrong.
But you went back home and watched the Oscars on Sunday.
I finished it. I missed Matthew's win.
Okay.
But as soon as I got home, that's like the only one. It takes me 7 minutes to drive home.
Yeah, and maybe when this kind of whole thing dies down, his schedule like cools off. We'll
you remember who started it for him?
We'll get him back on. Well, his publicist. I reached out to them and I asked, like, hey, like I don't know if you remember us at all, but like we talked to Matthew back in July. We would like to
have him back.
See if we could talk to him again. And they reached out saying that no, he's working on Blackish right now. It's kind of
that's awesome. That's actually a pretty good show.
Yeah, I like. I haven't. I'm not gonna lie. I have not seen a lot of Blackish. I don't watch a lot of cable television.
Well, I don't know him, but I knew a show that Anthony did back in the day. Your Uncle Dave lived with. His roommate was a guy that was in a TV show that Anthony was on, like way back.
The lead in Blackish, right?
No, yeah, the guy that's the lead. Anthony, what's his name? He's a movie star.
Yeah.
But back in the day, he's on like this little TV show that was like on during the cartoons on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
He was in like this weird basketball kid show, and he was one of the basketball players. And I was there when he got in trouble and got kicked off the show. So like I knew of who he was.
Yeah.
I know very well who he is. And so I checked out his show, and it's a lot. I didn't think it's so the whole premise of Blackish is they're not white guys, but
it's like
they've very got white problems.
Yeah, exactly. They're high society, right? Yeah, I
liked it.
I
don't watch it, but it was pretty good.
It's like I said, I don't watch too much cable television, but I know that a lot of people like it, and it's got like
3 issues spinoffs.
Yep, yeah, it does. You're right, huh?
It's pretty easy to know which one spinned off that one.
So we'll see what happens when he's done there. I'll reach back out in maybe a month or two. Maybe we can get him back on.
Right.
To kind of
before
recap.
his feature flops, and then
right. Well, we hope not. We hope not.
Doesn't make me wrong because I have an opinion, people. It
doesn't make you wrong.
Doesn't make me right either.
It just makes people not like you.
It's okay. I'm all right with that. I'm in a great mood today, so bring it.
I'm in a great mood as well. This we have, and let's run down what we'll talk about today. We got
Oscar.
We'll talk about the Oscars. What our thoughts, impressions of the winners, and if there was anything that we disagreed with. And then we will talk about the 2 movies that we saw.
Did you finally watch it?
Well, yes, I did watch Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
But I was talking about the screeners that we went to see that I went to see 2 of them.
So we got movies to watch and talk.
And
I got a different movie challenge for you at the end of the. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully you don't go, that's stupid. I'm going to try something.
Never with your ideas,
Never
Jim.
ideas. They always work.
They're always ones.
They're
that
never
I'm like,
controversial.
This is a good idea. So let's start off right off the bat. Let's kick it off with the Oscars. What's
the segue? What's our first segue? When we have like little. Oh, we don't have segues.
We don't have segues. When Tambi wants to, and when she's
can
back,
run those.
I'm going to teach her how to be
Turn
able
off
to
my microphone.
Oh, that's me. I can only do that. She can turn us all off. But what I'll do is,
I love you, Tambi.
what I'll teach her how to do is kind of
wasn't my opinion
to do segues and segments and like plays of like certain songs that we want to.
I think that'd be. I don't know why. I think little comedy segments here and there. Like a couple people brought up like the fact checker. I think
that's
would
what
work.
That's what Tambi.
Someone
wants
come
to
in and say you said this, you're wrong. I think that's and then let them have a week to like go figure it out and then come back the next week and
you're
call us out.
You're stupid people.
You're an idiot.
So we got that. We'll see when she's able to figure that out. But I'm excited to have her back because she was one of the OGs of the show.
I love Tambi, and I'm sorry she's mad at me. We can sit down and talk about it, like civilized people.
But what was your impressions after watching the Oscars?
Well, we kind of spoke a little bit, and so you kind of understand where I'm going. After I got back home, I also had some cleaning to do. I'm getting real close to having the house finally cleaned out. Oh, it's so nice. If that dog would stop pissing on the floor. But I think we solved that one today. It's gone. So now I have just the show while I'm doing some other stuff, and I'm watching it, and all of a sudden they give away Best Foreign Film to Parasite. And I'm like, okay, that's probably the top of it because I do like Parasite. I thought Parasite was great, but they don't give away Best Picture to foreign films. Never have, as a matter of fact. And then when they gave him Best Director, I was like, okay, now they've shown you how much they like this movie. Yeah. Now we're talking big time. They gave him Best Director. Okay, that's huge. What else could they possibly? Even he said that. He was like, I thought after you gave me Best, I was done.
Film. Yeah, I was like, all right, cool.
And then the next, and he in his little speech about Scorsese.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. It's like Scorsese and
Quentin Tarantino too.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys don't understand. He's like geeking out over there. And then they give him Best Picture.
It's like, whew.
I honestly even now I still can't believe they did it because it's just never happened before.
Yeah. And we'll just because we're here. What I was talking to my mom yesterday and she didn't like it at all. She didn't
like the movie?
Yeah.
Huh.
And she thought, well, I don't know if she didn't like it, but she thought Joker was a lot better. And
see, that's okay to everyone. Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
And the Parasite wasn't near my top of the list of Best Picture.
Mine either.
So, but I know a lot of people, and you probably do yourself, know that this movie is their favorite of the year.
Yeah.
Do you see why?
Yeah.
I'm just curious because I watched it. I thought it was fine. I was like, I didn't think that it was anywhere close to my favorite movie of the year. Why do people think that? You think?
I don't know why they think, but I know it's one of the very few that I want to go back and watch again.
I feel that way too
because the I don't want to ruin it for anyone because it's still new. That's why I hate talking to new movies. But there's a part in the movie where there's a certain SOS thing that's going on where they're communicating without anyone knowing it's happening, and I never caught on to it, and I want to know if it was happening in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
because I don't know. And they didn't really talk about it. So I want to go back see what kind of stuff was, if you can catch stuff happening, knowing what's going on later, I want to know if that in fact is happening, that's going to make me like the movie more.
Yeah,
without him telling you that they did it.
I have tradition where I buy the Best Picture movie, and then I also buy my favorite of the 9.
Which would be?
1917.
Okay.
So once that comes out, then I'll be able to buy that. But and I've done it for the last, I think, 4 years now. But so this is a movie that I'll have to go back and watch.
I could see why it's the safest of all of them that I thought, because by all means, I don't normally they would make this into an American, they'd remake it, and I don't think it would work as an American film. Like, how would they do some of that? Sorry, excuse me, I just about burped on the hair. How would they do some of that social class? I mean, we have that, but I don't know that it would work in a way.
I see what you're saying. Like, it's because South Korea.
They'd have to change so much of it.
I don't know if South Korea is a third world. It's not a third world country, but it does still have like the classes. People living in the slums.
And with the North Korea is so prevalent, like there's that whole newscaster scene where she's doing all the newscasters from North Korea.
Yeah,
and you're like, your impressions are spot on.
Well, and you could like it'd essentially be like if rich people in Hollywood, right? Like they were hiring people, nobodies to kind of come and take over, and they took over their house.
But I will say this about those actors that played the nobodies that turned into their helpers.
Yeah,
go back and watch them at the beginning of the movie. How schlub, like next to the toilet just to get a signal, to the way they acted when they needed to act that way.
Yeah.
There was some phenomenal acting going on there. So whether or not it was your favorite, or whether or not you know what side of the you want to sit on it, there was some fantastic acting. All of them did. They did some great acting.
You know what's funny? So I've seen one South Korean movie in my entire life.
Was it this one?
Before Parasite.
I've seen most of all of Boon Joon-hoon's movies.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah, he did Snowpiercer, so you saw that.
Oh, did I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't know that he did that one.
Yeah, that was his first American film.
But the story. So it was in college, and one of my friends loves. He's just his humor. So he turned on his Hulu, and there's a subgenre on Hulu for Korean dramas.
Really?
Yeah, and so you can.
I didn't know that.
We start watching this movie. It was like one of the. It's about
the more you know. We need the ding.
Right. It was, but it's about a sex shop. So it's like this lady opens a sex shop in
South Korea.
Yeah, and I can't remember.
Go on.
I can't remember like the entire premise. Of
Go
it all.
on. You got me hooked, dude.
But the reason why I bring this up is that the wife of the rich family, like I said, I've only seen one South Korean movie. I was like, I've either
what
like,
are the chances?
I was like, what are the chances, or either I'm being extremely bigoted right now.
You're a racist. Did you go back and check?
Yeah, I checked, and she is actually, and I did a big sigh of relief.
You're like, okay, good, that
like,
was her.
But yeah,
but no, just watch. That's again. This is one of those few. Like there's a few that I wanted to go back through just because I loved them. Like Jojo Rabbit and Once Upon a Time, and there's a lot of them. I haven't seen Irishman again.
Yeah.
I've seen 1917 twice now because I showed it to Grandma. I've like very few of them that I really have any reason to go back and watch it for a second time. Mm-hmm. But I want to watch Parasite for a second time for a few reasons, just to watch their progression of acting, just to watch if the stuff's happening in the background like I think was happening. All that stuff interests me. So for that to be done, it's intrigued me in that way. So I'll give it that. Was it my favorite? No. But very, very rarely my favorites will be. But I was stoked to see. My highlight was when they brought on Zach and Shia LaBeouf.
Right, that was a cool moment,
and you could tell how terrified that poor kid was. Oh, and I know, and I know nobody said anything, and I was hoping they didn't, because you're like, oh man, he couldn't even read from a teleprompter. Like, leave him alone, man.
Yeah, right?
He's terrified.
Yeah, it's like there's millions of people watching.
Shia's trying to help him out, but that was really cool. He's the first presenter to be. With a mental disorder like that to present, and he deserved at least a nomination. Man, he was so good. How many times have you seen Peanut Butter Falcon?
3 or 4.
Yeah,
I think
it's so good, man.
It's just, it's one of I love
That's how you know it's a good
but
movie.
Peanut Butter Falcon is right up there behind.
Well, anything you've seen 3 or 4 times and it's only been out 3 months.
Yeah,
definitely. That tells you how good that movie is.
That movie that I was bringing up that was the.
I want to watch.
It's called Casa Amor.
Casa Amor.
Exclusive for ladies is the title of the movie.
Exclusive for the ladies.
And this is. It's the here's the synopsis: is a beautiful workaholic Bo Hee is successful marketing executive at the #1 toy company in Korea. Respected by her colleagues and in line for a promotion, she makes an irrevocable mistake that gets her fired from her job. Bo Hee's life further spins out of control when her husband Gang Seung leaves her soon after. Bo Hee is befriended by her neighbor, an amateur sex expert who runs a sex shop on the brink of bankruptcy called Casa Amor. Nan-hee's the neighbor predicament inspires Bo Hee's creativity, and using her background in children's toys, she's determined to save the shop by making its ambience more refined and by promoting better sex toys. It's really super. It's just funny. It's a funny watch.
I will. But it's on Hulu. There's a whole subdivision of this.
Well, that's how we watch. I don't know if it's still there.
I have one that I got to find. I don't know how I'll ever find it again.
Amazon Prime. That's what.
But there's I remember there's a lot of swanky bars out in Hollywood, and one of the places that we went to had a movie theater inside of it that was playing foreign films, and most of the movies we didn't really get time to stand. I remember one time when I finally started like not enjoying the company of strangers. Like when I realized like this isn't comfortable for me. I remember watching this entire movie with subtitles at a bar while everyone else was out like hooting it up. I stayed and watched the entire thing. And I don't know how I'll ever find it. I only remember bits and pieces of it because it's been so long now, and I want to find it. But all I remember is it starts off. It's about this kid and his bowel movements, and that's the entire movie. That's basically the premises of this movie.
All right.
And I watched the entire thing, and I was fascinated. And I'm all like, I want to open a bar with a movie theater and play foreign films. This is great. But that was in L.A., so nothing like that. And then they kind of do it at Broovies.
It's just the most popular movie out, whatever.
Yeah, and I wish they would do more. I really do. I wish they'd do more of a
high society independent movie.
Not even that. Just more of like a. We're gonna do a Coen Brothers click thing. We're gonna do a Wes Anderson
weekend
thing. Yeah,
thing.
like a hey man, come pay $20 and you get a pizza and as many. You can watch as many Coen Brother movies as you want.
Okay,
something like that.
Yeah,
it wouldn't cost them anything.
We could see that.
I don't know. Maybe it's more than $20. The pizza would be $20, but.
Did you feel like the Oscars kind of went according to chalk? I feel like there wasn't many upsets.
Not many upsets other than the Parasite, which never happened.
Even though,
but it makes sense.
It's either 1917 or Parasite.
And we both had those. Those were our picks.
And then the only other thing that comes to my mind is Taika Waititi's win in Jojo Rabbit for Best Adapted Screenplay, because he was not prepared to speak.
So he was a little flustered.
Yeah, he was flustered. He just was kind of going off whim. He was just saying whatever, which
or maybe he did that on purpose.
Maybe,
and which makes me like him even more. Which cracks me up when people actually see him in real life. They're like, "Wait a minute, he's like a New Zealander." I'm like, "Yeah."
Don't you hear him talk ever? Like in every movie, he's the same person.
That's him. I could see it. It was, and then I really liked Leafs Phoenix's
Joaquin.
I liked his speech, even though he comes across as a real weirdo.
Here's the thing with the Joaquin Phoenix speech. I think the first half was the first third was very solid. The last third was very solid. Well, where he started talking about milking cows, we were like, "What is happening?"
Well, he went into the whole. Yeah, I know. He tried to go off. He had something he wanted to talk about. It was working better than he thought it would, and so he tried to riff, and then went back to, and then that whole thing with his brother's lyrics, he was just like, okay, wait, I gotta, this I had written down, I gotta go back to it. And the reason why I call him Leaf is because that is his actual name. His name is Leaf.
It's not as cool as Joaquin.
Yeah, and his first couple film credits is under Leaf.
And
I'm a jerk, so.
What is, and then Renee's speech.
What was that? And why'd they let her go so long?
It was so long.
Like anyone else, they just start playing the music.
No, she was,
and she just kept going.
Yeah, it wasn't
going.
It wouldn't end.
And it made no sense.
Nobody knew what was happening. It was like,
and Judy was one of those. What?
I'm so confused. It's like, and then it was just like an odd night because, and I think the most strange thing that happened all night that confuses me still is why in the hell did 8 Mile and Lose Yourself? Yeah. Why did they perform Lose Yourself?
I think the kid from 1917 had the best throw to line where he came and goes, "We're running out of time. Throw it to me so I can introduce myself. So they can introduce someone else to will introduce someone else."
One other person. But like, I don't understand.
He did a good job though.
Eminem? Yeah, nobody was...
His beard's stupid.
Yeah,
he's going to just hold on to that.
He looks like he's 50 now because he's almost 50.
Well, yeah, but he grew that beard that doesn't look right, and he's just going to hold on to it, whatever, teach his own.
The whole point of that thing,
and what was the point of it?
It was like to
and
celebrate...
half the song was bleeped out.
Yeah, it was.
So what was he singing about?
It was to celebrate music throughout history.
Yeah, okay.
And they did like a whole montage of like songs that you remember from the history of cinema, and obviously they missed a few. But then
it did not work live at all. While you bring that up,
what?
The freaking Toy Story 4 song.
Yeah, he's so old now. He's just
not only is he old, but it's just the same boring line over and over, and you don't realize it watching it in the movie. Then when you see them sing it, he sang that same verse to the point where it looked like he was looking at a teleprompter.
Like, all right, it's like move the line, bud. No, I completely agree. That didn't work, but. The whole thing, the montage, I was like, okay, all this music I like. That's like, it's like, oh yeah, hey look, that's 8 Mile, like that's awesome. It's like, wait, we're still on 8 Mile. This is a long shot of Eminem. I'm not understanding. And then they start playing the intro to Lose Yourself. I was like, they're not going to do this.
Yes,
right?
They are. And then they left out, how many people did they leave out of the In Memoriam?
Yeah, they left a lot of people.
Left out Luke Perry. They left out that kid that was in the Adam Sandler movies that just recently passed. A young kid. There's a lot. There's like at least 4 big names. Sig.
They always leave out somebody.
That Sig guy from all of Rob Zombie's movies. They left him out. They left out like some big names, man.
So that's the thing is that they almost didn't do it this year. I was wondering if they were going to because there was only like 5 minutes left of the actual show and they hadn't gotten to it yet. So I wasn't sure they were actually.
Can you have a? I'm literally typing in memoriam snubs. Can you have?
All right. But that's interesting. But like I said, the Oscars went to chalk.
It wasn't a very good show. I kept leaving. Actually, I missed most of Taika's most of his speech. I missed it because I was doing other stuff and I didn't really care.
And Renee's, they played Pirates of the Caribbean to play off Renee, which was
Tim Conway was missed. And that's like one of your grandma will know because she was a big, huge Carol Burnett fan. Sig Haig, I don't even know how to. Jan Michael Vincent, Luke Perry. There was Michael J. Pollard. They left off a bunch of them, dude. And I was just like one of them was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Which one?
Luke Perry.
Okay,
he's in the movie.
I think I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, he's got a significant part in the movie. He's in that movie, and they left him out. So, yeah, I agree. It was my least favorite, and I like Ricky Gervais, so I am a big fan of what the Golden Globes do, and I like the crassness of it, but that's just me, and I can understand people that don't like him, so please don't fill up my inbox with how can you like him? He's not funny. That's fine. You don't have to like him. I thought, and I think he does a fantastic job. My favorite Oscar host is Billy Crystal, but how many times can he host it?
Yeah.
And I really liked it. They brought Steve Martin and Chris Rock back.
Chris Rock was out. I thought that was honestly probably my favorite part.
The biggest emotion of all time.
Is the two of them riffing off back and forth.
Riffing. That's why I liked the Golden Globes.
Last year, I didn't mind. I didn't mind not having hosts, but I felt a lack of a host this year.
It dragged it. It really did. And I think maybe how could it throw? Because they've known about Kevin Hart not being able to do it for a long time. So how could they not?
Well, they saw it last year and they didn't have any controversy around it, and it worked smoothly.
Right.
So they're like, "Oh, let's do it again."
La La Land. I mean, Moonlight.
That was
yeah,
2
years
Kimmel.
ago.
That was Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That was from 2 years ago. But then they brought back the exact same announcers for. Did you notice they did that last year without the host? They brought back the same 2 people that did the mistake. They were the same ones they brought back to do it again last year.
Really?
Yeah.
They did. That's right.
So they did it right.
To fix it. And that's why I remember that. But
I mean, other than that, I don't really have a lot. The only thing that I walk away from is it makes me want to go back and watch Parasite more, which I'll get into. But I've been on this weird Star Wars kick because I know that they're going to release the extended footage soon.
Yep.
And I'm excited for that. And I also been thinking of an idea of I want to not just have a Star Wars kind of like you did the Endgame show. I want to bring on one person that is completely pro Star Wars, one person that's completely like they've ruined Star Wars, and then the 2 of us. But I think the 4 of us should sit down and watch 7, 8, and 9 together.
Okay.
And so I want to see your notes, it's got to be civil. I don't like it when people turn it into just because we have disagreements doesn't mean we have to hate each other. And and Star Wars does that for people. People hate it so much that they get mad at me and start throwing like swear words at me. And I'm like, dude, it's a kid's movie, dude. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But I don't even know why, but I've just, that's when it comes out. And
we never did that. We were going to do a spoiler review of Star Wars, but I felt like it was just too much time had gone by and nobody would
and
actually listen to it.
I'd like to sit down and hear why I would like to hear that hater. I don't know why. I think it'd be fun. If nothing else, we can watch all 3 of them.
A lot of people, and here's the thing, is that it's gotten to a point where Star Wars has just been a part of their lives for their entire life.
How could they write it to where it could finish your story in your head?
It's impossible, but they have this, and it's not.
I just
fair.
watched 8 again last night. I loved it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
I haven't seen 9 since I saw it in the theaters. It's nothing that I didn't like it. It's just at this point I want to wait for it to come.
And I'd like to see the extended footage. I'd like to see the 3.5 hour.
I am excited for Clone Wars. It comes out. The final season comes out this month.
I've been trying to get into that.
Disney Plus, and here's the thing, and there's
now movies. I don't mean to keep cutting you up, but we don't have a lot of movies to look forward to in the next couple of weeks. So
they have one of my favorite directors, Gavin. Not one of my favorite directors, but my favorite movie. The director Gavin O'Connor. He has his movie with Ben Affleck that's coming out in March, which I'll be intrigued by that because I love Miracle and I like Miracle and I love Warrior. So it'll be interesting to see if this one is if it's.
And I
up
like
to-
Ben Affleck. I've been a big. If anyone listens to the show, I've been saying I am a
Affleck.
huge Ben Affleck fan.
Yeah.
I like Ben Affleck movies, and I think he's a fantastic director.
So do I.
He's very underrated, and people don't give him credit. He did have some lean years. I'll give him that, but he's good, man.
So I'll be intrigued by that.
Wash your mouth.
But right now there's not much.
Yeah.
And like this is the time of year where you get like those hidden gems. The Mustang.
Out of nowhere.
The Mustang came out, I believe, in early March or late February, right on the time where you just kind of find those small movies that you're like, wow, that was really good. So I'm hoping to find a few of those.
Christopher Nolan's new one's coming out.
Yeah, it's in May though.
Yeah, but it's still like
Or
it's
it's
not
in July.
Oscar.
It's
That
in
ain't
July.
that ain't an Oscar season.
I mean, that's what happened with his last last movie. I mean,
Inception?
Not Inception.
The
War.
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk. Yeah, that came out in like May or June or
which
whatever.
was
Yeah, it
was
kinda
on a
carried
lot of
itself.
people's top 5 of all time. It's on Quentin Tarantino's top 3.
Yeah, he loves Dunkirk.
So
You got that. But yeah, there's a few coming out right now that it's small things to keep an eye out on, but I don't know them off the top of my head. Other things to kind of keep note. We went and saw a couple movies.
we went and saw some movies.
So we went and saw the pre-screening of Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey.
The Fabulous Emancipation. Of
Oh,
one
you
Harley,
have to say the whole thing.
one Harley Quinn, but did you see that they've changed the name?
No.
They have officially changed it to Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey is the name of the movie.
Because I'm looking at it right now, it still says Birds of Prey and the Fabulous Emancipation of
They're
one Harley
supposed
Quinn.
to, at least that's what they're saying.
It's the number 1 movie.
It didn't make the money that they wanted to, but let's talk about
33 million wasn't enough.
No.
I guess I know. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, any of the movies that we just watched in the Oscars, if they would have made 33 million,
They
and
didn't have $90 million budgets either.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
and no one will remember those movies. God bless them all. But if they had a $33 million opening weekend, it would have been the biggest news ever.
It's like the Joker. The Joker was I believe $30 million budget, and it made $1 billion. So those people are just living high right now.
High on the horse.
But I'll let you kind of talk about it first, and then
right.
I'll give my thoughts. I've seen Birds of Prey twice now. So.
Twice? How'd you go?
I went and saw it with Tambi.
Okay. So no. Okay. So I'll give it this. Somehow I always get stuck next to the person that wants to give me the worst anxiety always, and that girl just kept rocking. And that's fine. I got through it, and what I did notice is the girls in the audience loved the movie.
Yep.
They loved the girl power. A few things I noticed also that there was also quite a few butt shots of one Harley Quinn, but none of them were flattering butt shots. But it was like they tried to put it because a lot of her clothes that she'd wear weren't
tight,
tight thing. But if you notice, there was a lot of them in every outfit. They'll show her what her butt looked like in the outfit, and it wasn't flattering. And I thought it was kind of funny. But it got to a little too much, and so I said after it was over, it felt like their attempt at Deadpool.
And that's the comics too. Is that they've kind of made Harley Quinn a lot like Deadpool.
Have they? And I don't follow comics, and
it's
so
what my friends have said.
Yeah,
so I don't. Either,
I don't
but.
follow. And so that was my take on it. Was an R-rated DC film where they could get away with looking at the camera, breaking the fourth wall, and making the jokes as they were happening, and giving you the winks. And I really liked her. She was much more of a badass as Harley Quinn than I've seen her, and she kicked some ass in this film.
Yeah.
And it just got too much. There was too much colors. There was too much. There wasn't really a storyline. Like I couldn't tell you what it was about, other than I know it was about a diamond. But there is the Birds of Prey makes me think that it's about a group of girls doing something when they don't really do anything. And I knew the girl was going to sing at some point. Other than that,
that's true. Yeah, that part was weird.
And well, she going to sing. But she never used it. Anyways, I liked the movie. I thought the movie was great, and I think it's cool that the girls really like it because it gives them something to go watch a girl kick butt because she does, and she's awesome. And I love seeing Rosie Perez get another chance in a movie because I've liked her forever since I haven't seen her since White Men Can't Jump. Mm-hmm. But overall, is it a movie that I'm going to go see again or go seek out to watch again or tell people to go watch?
Yeah.
No. As a matter of fact, I don't remember a lot about it, and we just watched it on Monday.
On Wednesday.
That's what I said.
But I'll say what I said to Tambi after I saw it. I was like, I think, and this isn't a bad thing whatsoever, but I think that this is a movie, the first superhero movie directed for women.
Yeah.
And
I'll give it that.
And people are like,
Wasn't
no,
for me. Was not for me.
What about Wonder Woman? It's like, no, Wonder Woman is very. It's still like, it's gals and Patty Jenkins is leading it, but I still think that the movie has as much humor. Like a lot of people can find the enjoyment down the middle.
What's his name?
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine had a huge part in that.
Yeah, and definitely he had comedic relief in that. But I still think that the humor in Wonder Woman is very neutral. More so, I would say it leans more heavily to the men's side of things. But whereas this one is the humor is strictly towards women. Every guy in this movie is a bad dude,
or a buffoon,
or a buffoon. Not even a buffoon. Like every guy in the movie is a bad dude. Even the nice old man. Ends up, you see what ends up happening to him at the end of his arc.
The one that you're absolutely. I didn't even think about that.
The one guy that like
that was helping him.
Yeah,
he ended up being a D-bag too.
Yeah, so like you see that.
I didn't even notice that.
But like this movie, I've seen it twice, and I liked it better the second time. But I have a hard time kind of figuring out. And I think I've kind of nailed down of why I'm like I love Margot Robbie. I think she's great.
Yeah.
I loved Ewan McGregor. I thought
he was awesome.
He
Very
was
good.
really
yes.
good. I liked Victor Zsasz. I thought he was really cool.
Yep.
I liked
Who is he though? Like I know he's supposed to be someone in the comic book world.
Victor Zsasz.
Yeah,
he's a not suicide, but he's a maniac. He kills. He's like a lunatic, a psychopath,
and he's the one that notches them off.
Yeah, he gives himself a scar every time.
That's I thought that's who he was, but they don't really bring it up, and they didn't do it in Suicide Squad either with a Bullseye or whatever.
Yeah, or with.
There was another character in there that they kind of just passed over. I don't know.
But anyway, so I liked his character, even though like they took liberties with Victor Zsasz. It's not the crazy he's still got his head together, whereas Victor Zsasz usually is just a complete psychotic, no thought, just serial killer. But he does have the scars. I liked what the actor was able to do with that.
I like that actor.
So do I. I thought it was like, okay, that I like what
weird dynamic between him and Ewan as well.
And
like
there was supposed to be a lot of controversy with that because I think, and they hint at it a little bit.
But they were dating.
Yeah, they were kind of together, but they either cut it out or.
But you could tell.
Yeah, you can tell. And
he was so metrosexual in this movie. How could you not?
Was,
How could you not?
Yeah.
And who cares?
It doesn't matter. But
it's so weird what people think is going to be shocking anymore. It's like, they were supposed to be lovers. I don't care.
Yeah. But so I like that. Their relationship was good. Like I said, I like Black Canary, and I thought her story was really good too.
The little girl, who is she?
And there's at least my things that I did not like. I did not like the little girl
at all,
and I did not like
no
the
redeeming
cop.
thing about her.
I didn't like the cop,
Rosie Perez.
Yeah, I thought
she had no redeeming.
I thought the two of them
and
were
then
the worst
to make
part
her,
of the movie.
And then to make her like the underling, like I took her under my wing. Like that's not a good thing, Harley.
Yeah.
You don't take a little girl.
Well, it is her thing, but like Harley's not a good person.
Yeah, you don't want to grow up to be Harley Quinn.
But that's the thing is that every time the little girl spoke, it just annoyed me.
How could we talk this much about a movie and still not give anything away?
Right? Look at us.
Yeah,
we're so good.
No, I'm just saying. Like I was just thinking, like we haven't.
Well, it's because there's not much to give away.
Yeah.
In this movie is. It's the point you bring up. It's like Huntress, she's fine, but you only get her for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
How
many times did she run in that little outfit? She looks so uncomfortable.
Right. And
poor girl.
So there's that, and I didn't like the culmination of the Birds of Prey. I thought that was sloppy.
It didn't make sense.
Yeah,
there was no Birds of Prey.
It
was Harley Quinn and then some chicks that helped her from time to time.
Right? Like it was like, but the
I'm sorry, I don't mean to call them chicks. What do I call them?
The ending of the movie is it's like.
I use chicks because of birds. So.
Like you like kind of in these there's movies throughout history that like kind of people are kind of thrust together.
Yeah.
Like you got to be a team to survive.
Right.
Whereas like I didn't really. It just seemed like the reasoning and the way that they pitch it. Like all right,
and they never did till the very end.
We gotta fight together to survive.
Yeah, they weren't a team till the end.
I didn't believe that too much. And we're ragging on this a lot. I think there's a lot of
there's a lot of good.
There's a lot of good. There's a lot of humor in this.
Yeah, there was.
Just
some
watching
funny stuff.
Just watching Margot kind of be Harley Quinn is great. I loved watching her do that.
Was that? Did we find out? Was that Leto?
Yeah, well, his chin. It was his.
That's what I'm saying because they showed like, and even you.
I joked so you can see how much
there he is.
Jared Leto, and it's actually something that I thought about. Would this movie have been better if it was Jared Leto as the main villain.
Or at least somewhere in there. Her
Yep.
getting away from him.
Yeah.
Then having the breakup the breakup be a little bit more public.
DC did such an awful job at handling this.
Yeah.
Because they Jared Leto obviously feels slighted because
I don't know if he did do a good Joker. There's not enough footage.
Yeah.
There's not enough footage for you to tell me he was good or bad.
And he feels like he's cheated because, he was promised to be the Joker, and then they kind of go underneath him and do this solo Joker movie to kind of and obviously it's a big
Squash
deal
it.
because he
And now
won
there's-
best actor.
And now
Best
Reeves is
Picture.
doing Batman, and he's not in that.
Yeah, and now the one movie you assume that he'd be in is the one with Harley Quinn, and they completely trash him. So I think
he's a picture on the wall.
Yeah, there's an animated picture on the wall, and it's I think that this movie would have had I don't know if I think that if he was in this movie, I think he would have had to be the villain. Because it would make, I think
it would have made more sense.
It would have had more of an emotional, and the whole point of why the Black Mask is bad is just because he's bad.
He's bad.
It's
He owns a bar and he's bad. And...
Yeah, and he wants to be the next Joker because the Joker is something for whatever reason.
But if you go back to Suicide Squad, what I've been saying, if you watch the Batman and Superman, if you watch the Justice League, if you watch and you pay attention, there are signs that are showing that the Joker, that the Jared Leto Joker, is not actually the Joker that you're watching. He's actually Robin, who later in the comic books turns into the Joker. And there's many signs from the bullet.
But we'll never know.
We'll never know. And then in Birds of Prey, they show the toxic chemical plant.
Yeah.
And now so you're telling me that is that Batman, or that is that Robin. Sorry, sheesh, I can't even talk. It is that Joker.
Yep.
And that kind of bothered me as well, because they didn't give us an origin story of the other. And I mean, they just really did. Either he was just that terrible,
or
hard to work with.
Yeah,
or...
and I think that goes to it too. Is that a lot of the cast just really was made uncomfortable with his kind of method acting and stuff like that. I think him and Margot kind of butt heads a little bit too.
And they picked, and we've talked this a lot. You've asked a couple times, what happened to that dude? That's what happens when you're a D-bag.
Yeah, and I love Jared Leto. He's one of my favorites.
But then they went and gave him. He's got the new one coming out.
Morbius.
So he couldn't have been that big of an a-hole.
Yeah, he's in the MCU now.
Yeah, and he popped up in a bunch of my favorite movies this year.
So, yeah, it's confusing, but I highly suggest going to see Harley Quinn. It made $33 million.
Yeah,
it didn't make enough. It's an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, I believe, and it's highly reviewed. It's a solid movie. DC's done a good job in their latest movies, kind of doing good movies. They've made money. I was hoping that this would make money just because
it sits at
79% now. And I was hoping it would make more money because the people
who made it,
the misogynistic buttholes, a-holes of the world, there was this petition before the movie saying that this movie was going to tank because they didn't sexualize the female superheroines or supervillains enough to kind of get guys to go see it. And which I was hoping that they would just kind of
kill it the other way.
But now that this happened, now these people have.
So
look at this.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they make at least enough, because
made 89 million worldwide.
Because they're gonna make a Suicide Squad 2,
and she's in that too, in 2021.
So we'll see. And then I'm looking at the movies that are coming up, because I know the movie you're about to talk about that you went and saw, so we can start hitting the other movies. We just went and ranted about 2 movies, actually the Oscars, I guess. But how is the Portrait of a Lady on Fire just barely coming out? There's been screener copies of Portrait of a Lady on Fire since November.
Yeah, well, is it?
How is that just
I think it's
out?
catching the wave of
in February.
Parasite.
February 14th is now coming out finally, but it's been I saw it back in November.
Really? So I remember seeing it, and it's shot in 8K, because I remember I was talking about it. Me saying it was like it's shot in 8K, so you see it on the biggest, best screen as you possibly can. I might want to go check that.
I'll check it out with you,
because I heard that one is artsy fartsy.
Artsy fartsy, it is indeed. But now it's finally starting to come out, and I was like, wow. So you went and saw. I had the option of either being like a jerk about it and saying, no,
this is the show.
It's us or nothing. But then when you were like, Tammy kind of wants to go see it, I'm like, no, have fun.
Yeah. It's like I went and saw Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, no, that's cool. I'll sleep in. Cheers.
Don't tell me what it is, but does it have reviews up yet for Sonic the Hedgehog? Because I have not seen it yet. But I went and saw it on Saturday, and I grew up playing the Sonic games.
As did I.
I not as much, but I do have memories of playing them.
No
reviews,
no critic reviews, no audience
nothing,
review,
nothing yet, right?
No.
So that's what I thought. So I was intrigued by this movie because the whole, the backlash of this whole, like the first image, the animators went back and it redid Sonic to make him look like the video game because the fans lost.
They've
their
lost
mind.
it with his teeth, and he
they
did look
lost
creepy though.
He looked very weird.
Yeah.
So
How was Jim Carrey?
It was Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
It was Jim Carrey.
I recently just saw him on Conan, and he had a really. I don't know if anyone gets a chance to see the interview with Jim Carrey on Conan O'Brien. Go watch it because he talks. They do a sketch together. They do a bunch of other stuff, and then he explained where he got Ace Ventura from.
Yep.
It's a cockatoo bird. Eats a lot of seeds and walks around with the.
Okay.
It's an intelligent burp. Anyways,
but he's.
I do like Jim Carrey.
He is Jim Carrey. If you're a fan of his kind of mannerisms, that's who he is. He's not acting in any way. He's not become Dr. Robotnik. And to be honest, Dr. Robotnik isn't memorable in my mind, so I don't know his mannerisms.
I didn't even know
anyway.
there was a bad guy in Sonic.
Exactly
I thought it was
right.
just collecting coins and going fast.
But so
did he collect coins and go fast?
That's part of the movie. Is he goes fast, but he has to go and collect his coins. The coins are portals to different worlds, so he's using them to kind of transfer.
Did it work like Pikachu?
A little bit. That's why I was going to ask you if there's reviews, because if you ask me what the over under, if you gave me 60% and asked me what the over under was,
yeah,
I would say over. I would say probably 63%.
See, if I had to guess, I'd go 40s.
Yeah,
I think it'd be better than Angry Birds 1, but not as good as Angry Birds 2.
Yeah, that's right. The love of Angry Birds 2 is real on this show. But yeah, it's not going to pass. I don't think it'll pass.
Well, we'll find out. By next week, we'll know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's fun if you have kids. If you had a son, I think I texted my brother. I was like, Lincoln would love this. Steve, here's your plug.
Steve,
it's like Lincoln.
I told him he's got to come on.
Well, now we have a few open shows now.
Yeah.
He might be able.
Well, I told him because he actually came and gave us a great review. He says you've changed the way I watch movies.
Yeah,
and I said, what do you
mean? Maybe we should get him.
Yeah, and I'm like, I would like to hear, even if he didn't stay the whole show, I'd love to hear him express how not.
The thing is, we record so late, and he's a big person. And has a family.
Well, when I was watching 1917 with Grandma and your Aunt Mimi, she was like, "Don't watch movies with Jim," because she started pointing out, and because I kind of helped her along, but then she started catching it herself. She goes, "Okay, that's just dumb." I'm like, "Thank you."
But maybe I can ask him to come on next week.
I think it'd be great.
My friend who I had coming on next week, he's got to push back to
Warren Workman, the 28th
of
March.
Okay,
and then we also need to get the one ghost that we've had.
Yes, come on,
Mario.
So. Yeah, but if you have kids, I'd suggest go ahead and check it out. Sonic. It's not, and I laughed throughout. There's many parts of the movie where I chuckled a lot. There's a part in the middle. I would say the beginning and the end are the strongest. The middle is very kind
of usually how it works, though.
Pulls,
especially when you have a short film.
Yeah,
and you're trying to make it into more.
But it's not long. It's like an hour and maybe 50 minutes at max. So yeah, there's that. We have our movie challenges.
Yeah, and you finally got to my movie. So 2 weeks in the making. After all this time, I've been trying to get you to watch Big Trouble, Little China. It's on HBO. It's not like you had to go searching for it.
Nope.
It's a John Carpenter film, right in his 80s, like, hoorah.
This movie.
Well, okay, go, please.
It's interesting. Like, it was kind of going along with the whole like foreign kind of thing, right? It has a very Japanese centric style to it, and
Chinatown.
I was watching. I was like, "What am I watching?" Like, I'm trying to figure this out, but it made no sense. So please give me like of what I watched.
So I want to hear what you thought it was about before I tell you what it's about.
It's hard. Like, it was like this guy stumbling upon some super like culture, like Japanese culture, on accident, and he's just trying to survive.
And who is he?
Kurt Russell.
Jack Burton.
Russell.
Kurt Russell is Jack Burton. Jack Burton is Kurt Russell. So yeah, did you get the when I told you about all the characters
I haven't seen Mortal Kombat in a long time.
But you had the Raiden, had
but I see where you're the points
they're all
you're making.
So it's basically just kind of him in his truck and him talking into his CB, and he accidentally falls into this world of Little China, and the girl with green eyes. and these mythical characters that come along with it, and just the movies, to me, the brilliance of the movies when he's sitting in the elevator, the lipstick is smeared across his face, and he's explaining that he's on something, and the girl's just looking at him like, yeah, you're on something.
Yeah, it was like because I wasn't sure how they were gonna tie it in Mortal Kombat, because I was like, okay, it's
before Mortal Kombat, years before Mortal Kombat.
But and I was just like, all right, let's see how this goes. And then they start going supernatural with the whole thing, and I was like, I'm so lost right now.
So you didn't like it?
I don't know if I didn't like it. I was just lost the entire time. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
so
it's about it. It's about It's about one-liners. I've seen, and Carpenter's gotten. It's almost like a renaissance of Carpenter. He's come back where for a long time it was, oh, he made this, oh, he did that, and then for a long time people did not watch Carpenter films. There was nobody in 1987 to 1999 that told you they were a John Carpenter fan. If they did, they're lying. And then all of a sudden there's been a renaissance where that's why he doesn't really make movies anymore. And if you watch his career, it kind of went that way. And he did, like, he did make Halloween, but when Halloween first was shown, it actually nobody liked it, and it was before he did the little piano. Once that came in, it like started scaring people. But before that, people laughed at it, and they didn't, whatever it was, they didn't like it. And the Thing, they remade it. That's how much respect they had for that. But
Halloween,
Halloween and The Thing.
Oh, and The Thing. Well, did they remake Halloween? I thought it was just a sequel.
They've remade it twice now.
I thought it was a sequel. The one that
Rob,
came out.
Rob Zombie remade it.
Oh, okay. I was like, the one that came out in 2017.
Yeah,
or 16?
that one's kind of like a sequel.
What's her name,
and now
is
they're
still
doing
in it.
another sequel.
Because it made money.
Yeah, of course they did.
It's a horror movie, all of them.
And so, anyways, that is what it is. It's just a fun 90-minute movie of Kurt Russell being basically do whatever you want, and he's hilarious. It's a good versus evil story of get the girl at the end and fight the bad guy and kick some butt.
I feel that. Yeah,
and with the mullet.
The major mullet. It was such a obnoxious mullet.
Such a beautiful mullet.
Okay, my movie for you.
You got me The Gift.
I did get you a gift.
Which was Joel Edgerton's debut as director. Edgerton. How's it spelled? E-G-G?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm wrong. Continue.
Okay, so there was some stuff I liked about it a lot. I can tell Joel is a good dude because he has another writer, director, actor in Jason Bateman in his movie.
Yep.
So you can tell he's got respect from the people. I like the ideas behind it. I like that it went kind of I don't know, like the good guy who comes back into your life, but he did him wrong, and then the sins of your younger age, can it come back to be that big of a deal? And I never really, I still couldn't figure out what he did, what Simon did that was so bad that made him all these years later still like to the point where he
wants to ruin his life,
and
right?
rape his wife and
have his kid
destroy everything.
Because that twist at the end of the movie where like he finds out that like his wife's pregnant and then realizes it's not his kid.
Might not be his kid. They don't say.
It's like hinted.
I guess they changed the end too, because I read a lot about him. I guess they actually that was even more graphic. And then if you read even more about it, he wanted to be so much into the directing that he didn't do any of his acting parts until like 2 weeks into shooting, and they wrapped him up in like 5-6 days. Like they just filmed all his stuff so he could be in the director's chair. And I like Joel, but he's also one of those guys. He gives me hope, but at the same time, like, and this is the same thing that your sister's mad at me for. I'm like, he's not a Hollywood type.
Yeah,
he's a goofy looking dude, and
he is kind of goofy.
And it's very easy for someone to say, "What do you mean? You saying he's not talented? You saying he's not a leading man?" That's not what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, Hollywood has a standard, and Hollywood is very strict with their standard, and he does not fit the prototypical leading man for a Hollywood movie. He just doesn't.
Kind of going along with Warrior, he looks like a guy who's been punched in the face
a bunch of times. Yeah. It doesn't mean he's not talented. It doesn't mean he can't direct. Doesn't mean he can't act. I'm just telling you what the standard is. I'm not the jerk for pointing it out. That's the standard. But he does have a successful movie, and I think it's got a 80% on IMDb. And
I like The Gift. I
liked it.
Yeah,
but it was also
It was one of those movies that came out in the middle of like you're like, wow, that was a lot better than everyone should go see it. And then it kind of just because it was in that time, it has better nostalgia because it was just surrounded by
And I
crap.
don't know why I didn't see it. It's one of those movies I'm surprised it took me till now to see it because it is a good movie. It was a good movie, and I would tell people to go see it, but also be prepared to. I think because it was his first film, I think there's some stuff taken away from him that hurt his movie. And I can say that because I know what it's like to have people. I talked to Paul Thomas Anderson in depth about how he lost his first movie, Sydney, which was supposed to be, which is called now Hard 8. He lost his first movie. Paul Thomas Anderson can lose his movie. You can lose your movie. Yeah. and if you read about it, he lost his movie. They took it from him. And he wanted to call it what was his Gordo, but it was Weirdo.
Okay.
He wanted to call it Weirdo. Because he was Weirdo Gordo, and which doesn't really ring. Weirdo Gordo doesn't ring.
No, it does not.
And then the whole movie kind of feels that way to me. Doesn't quite fit, but all in all, he did a good job. I love Jason Bateman. I've always loved Jason Bateman. I've met Jason Bateman's dad on a personal level. Interesting character on that, but I'm big fan of the Batemans. Big fan of Joel Edgerton.
My mom loves Jason Bateman.
Yeah, how could you not?
Yeah.
And
this movie makes you not like him.
Kind of, but what did he do?
That's, I guess
I still don't know what he did.
So
I still don't know what he did. Like
I've seen it.
Because of the way that it's set up and the way that they talk about it is, it was about kids being mean to each other that turned into so then there was a rumor about Joel that caused like severe consequences in Joel's life.
Was it because he was the rumor that he was?
Because he was gay.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And his dad beat the hell out of him.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay,
and that's so. I mean, I can understand that being, but it wasn't like there was a reason behind why he's gay.
Yeah.
There was a rumor. There's something that happened in the kid's life that was traumatic that he shouldn't have been talking about. But kids do that.
Yeah.
And does that warrant 25 years later?
To the wrong person, maybe.
Yeah, they found him.
Hey, it's like the Joker scenario.
And it was
right?
too convenient. Where was the cameras? Where's all that stuff? How could he be recording all that stuff? How would he know that it was going to go that way? Like, there was just some stuff that I was like, I think he had a much darker movie that didn't answer the question, kind of like how I like to do. I don't like to answer the questions, and I think Hollywood made him answer it, and I think it bothered me.
Okay,
that makes sense.
That does make sense.
And that's the only problem with I have with the movie is where if I would sit down with Joel, I'd say this is what I think they made you add, and this is what I think you fought for, and I think this is what turned into your movie into it. I'll bet you I'm pretty close on most of it. Could be wrong.
You could be wrong, but it sounds logical to me.
So, but overall, yes, good movie. I will put it on my list. Again, he is not a Hollywood pretty man. He is not a Hollywood heavyweight, but Joel continues to make movies that I'm like, I like that movie. It Comes at Night. Or not the fighter. I don't know why I always want to say the fighter.
Warrior.
Warrior. Like, he's in all these good movies, and he is not your prototypical pretty man. He shouldn't be a leading guy.
Star Wars Episode 2.
He shouldn't be a leading guy, but he is, and he's a talented dude. So good pick. Again, that's 2 in a row that you've picked that I've liked.
Actually, thank you.
Well, I guess no, there was a really good one, and then there was one I was okay, and then this one was good. So.
Yeah. What was the one last week? Men in Black. Yeah.
Men in Black. It was too easy. You can't do a $1 billion movie and say, did you like it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
It was Men in Black.
All
man.
right. Let's do our movie challenges.
Movie challenge.
You hit me.
Okay, so this is what I want to challenge for you.
Okay.
Because I am and I kind of, if you listen to the show, I can't help myself. I always ruin what I'm going with. But I am going to leave it open because it kind of worked in a way before. I want to talk the Coen brothers. I don't want to talk necessarily just one Coen brother movie. I am such a fan of the Coen brothers that I will leave it completely open to you. You can pick one or as many Coen brothers movies as you can get in this week.
Okay.
And any one of them that you have, I will be ready to talk about.
Okay.
And that's my challenge for you is the Coen brothers. And if that means it fills 45 minutes over, because we could talk Coen brothers for 45 minutes. And that's what I talked about, not necessarily just a movie. I don't want to talk actor in their movies. I want to talk filmmaker. I want to talk Coen brothers.
Okay.
And so you pick True Grit. We go all the way back from their first movie. They're shorts. You can't find them. But basically, Blood Simple is their first one. Raising Arizona, Barton Fink, Hudsucker Proxy, Fargo, Big Lebowski. Oh, Brother, We're Out There, The Man Who Wasn't There, Intolerable Cruelty, Lady Killers, Country for Old Men, Burn After Reading, Serious Man, True Grit, Inside Llewyn Davis, Hail Caesar, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, You pick any of those. I've seen them, and I could talk to you about.
Okay, let's do it. I had one, but I've kind of supplanted it because I just want you to watch Casa Amor. So
watch what?
Casa Amor. It's the sex shop.
Casa Amor. All right.
The sex shop.
So I can find it the way it's spelled. Send it to me. I will watch it.
Okay. It's on. It's like I said on Amazon Prime.
I'll watch it tonight. I got nothing else to do.
So yeah, I'm excited to hear what you think about it because, yeah, it is a interesting watch.
An interesting watch.
That is what it is. It is a.
Oh man, I'm just going through. Look at this list, dude. They've made so many good movies, and of all these movies, like even the ones that people are like, there's a few on here that people will go, wasn't my favorite, like Lady Killers. And if Lady Killers is the worst movie in your library, you've done some excellent movies. Oh man, I just hope. Oh, Casa Amor, exclusive for ladies, 2015, Brady Clark. Man,
is that your?
Yeah, I'm all Mac, and so
failed accents.
Yeah. No, that was my Brady impression.
Oh, was that my?
Doesn't I sound just like you?
Radio
Man?
That's really close.
Radio Man.
All right, let's get out of here.
Hi, Mom.